Last year, a website called Freedom Mobiles compiled a list of over 130 keywords to find the most searched for iPhone problems on Google. They broke the issues down by UK searches, US searches, and global searches, and the article makes for really interesting reading. But what I thought I would do today is take that global list and explore each of the 10 issues and share the fix for you. That way, if you've experienced one of these problems, you might be able to find a fix, and if not, you'll know what to do if any of them ever happen to you. Oh, also, I've put chapter markers in case you want to skip to a specific part of the video. Okay, let's get into it. In at 10, AirPods not connecting to iPhone. First of all, the most obvious place to start with this is ensuring that the AirPods and the case are fully charged. Put the AirPods in the case and plug the case in using a lightning cable rather than relying on wireless charging, and then give the case a bit of a clean to ensure that the AirPods themselves are able to connect and charge. If you peek inside the case, you'll notice these two gold connectors at the bottom of each tip space of the AirPods case, and these are what connect to the AirPods themselves to allow you to charge. If these are covered in dust, dirt, earwax, sand, or anything else, there is a chance that the AirPods aren't able to make a solid connection and won't charge. Cotton swabs are excellent for cleaning AirPod cases. You can ever so slightly dampen them with a cleaning solution if you need to, and then let the case sit open for a while so that the connectors fully dry out. It should go without saying, but never submerge the case or AirPods underwater, or even hold them under running water beyond using the tiniest amount of non-abrasive cleaning solution. You really don't want to ever get these wet. With that covered off, if the issue still persists, your next course of action is going to be a reset. Put the AirPods in their case and close the lid, then wait for 30 seconds. On your iPhone, head to Settings, then Bluetooth, and look for your AirPods. Tap the I button next to them, and on the next screen choose Forget this device, which fully disconnects them from your phone. Next, open the charging case and press and hold the setup button on the rear until the status light flashes amber, then white. Your AirPods are now in pairing mode, so hold them with the case still open near to your iPhone. Your iPhone should recognize the AirPods, and you can follow the steps to connect to them, which will hopefully resolve the connection problem. This process is known as auto-connecting, by the way. You can manually connect if you wish. You would do that by following all of the previous steps, but instead of waiting for a prompt to appear on your iPhone to connect, open Bluetooth and look for the headphones in there and tap on them to manually connect. Besides that, do ensure that you're running the latest iOS software, and if you've not already, restart your phone. Honestly, the steps covered here should solve the problem. There are more extreme steps you can consider, like fully wiping all Bluetooth connections from your phone, or even factory resetting your iPhone, but I'd be more inclined to contact Apple support before doing either of these and seeing if they can help fix what is clearly a more complex problem or even replace the AirPods for you. In at 9 is CarPlay not working, so let's explore that. The first step with CarPlay related issues is actually to establish whether this is a major or minor connectivity issue. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll find that your phone won't connect, and all it takes is rebooting your car's entertainment system and restarting your phone, and that resolves the issue, so always try this method first. I've been using CarPlay for years, and I can hand on heart say that this simple step has always fixed the issue for me, even though it is annoying when you're sat at the side of the road waiting for your phone to restart. If this doesn't solve the issue, it is probably a more major connectivity issue, but we can still take steps to resolve it. First of all, as ever, ensure you're running the latest version of iOS on your iPhone by going to Settings, General, and then Software Update. Also, this might sound really obvious, but check with the manufacturer of your car or car head unit to ensure that your car can actually support CarPlay. Don't simply assume that it can, as not all cars offer this function. With that done, establish what kind of CarPlay connection you're operating. If it's wired, you're going to be connecting to your car via a USB or USB-C to Lightning cable, and this is going to be the first place that I would check. Lightning cables aren't going to work forever, and if you've had a cable living in your car for months or even years, probably subjected to extreme temperatures, maybe getting twisted and bent around quite a lot, there is a chance that your cable has stopped working, so try a different one. Also, if your car has different USB ports that all allow CarPlay connectivity, connect to the different ports as well, mix and match until you can rule everything out. If the connection is wireless, ensure that you've got both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled on your phone, and I'd recommend resetting the CarPlay connection by going to Settings, then General, then CarPlay, then tapping on your car and choosing Forget this car. You would then set up CarPlay again, refer to your specific car or head unit's instructions for how to do this. Last thing, check that CarPlay isn't being restricted by your iPhone. Head to Settings, then Screen Time. If you've got it enabled, head into Content and Privacy Restrictions, tap on Allowed Apps, and ensure that CarPlay is enabled. If you don't have content and privacy restrictions enabled, you don't have to worry about this being the issue. By the way, if you prefer to have content like this in a written format, there's a PDF to accompany this video, and you can access it by joining my membership program, where for a small monthly fee, you'll get access to all video PDFs moving forward, plus the growing library of old ones. Just follow the link in the description of this video that says Become a Channel Member. In at 8 is your iPhone not powering on. First thing we're going to check is that the iPhone has enough power to be able to turn on, because if the battery has depleted beyond a certain point, you won't be able to power on or reset your phone without plugging it in. So take a USB to Lightning cable that you know works, and connect it to a power brick that you also know works, and plug it in. iPhones running the latest iOS software are actually designed to automatically power on a few seconds after being connected to power, so it is possible that this alone will fix your issue. However, if not, we can try a forced restart. For all phones, connect them to power for at least 20 minutes before trying this. On an iPhone 6S or older, hold the sleep, wake, and home button together for 20 to 30 seconds. On a 7 and 7 Plus model, do the same, but with the volume down and the home button. On an iPhone 8 or newer, you'll be pressing a quick button sequence. Press and quickly release the volume up button, then do the same on the volume down button, then press and hold the power button until the Apple logo appears. If this still doesn't work, you can try repairing the iPhone using iTunes, although you'll need a Mac or a Windows PC to do this. Download iTunes on whichever computer you're using, then connect your iPhone to the computer using a Lightning to USB cable. Follow the steps we just talked about in the previous section about forcing a restart, but do so with the phone connected to your computer. This is designed to put the phone in recovery mode, and from here you would follow the steps on iTunes to update or restore your iPhone. If none of these steps work, you'll need to speak with Apple support. Number 7 is the message liquid detected in Lightning connector on your screen. Did you know that if you own an iPhone 12, 13 or 14, it's waterproof with an IP68 rating, meaning that it can be submerged in up to 6 meters of water for up to 30 minutes? I knew this, but I forget this. And the reason for that is that I never let my iPhone get wet, and honestly, I'd recommend that you don't either. iPhones aren't designed to be taken swimming, unlike, say, your Apple Watch. The waterproof function of the iPhone is actually more to keep it safe if you accidentally drop it into water, and if you ever do that, there is a chance that you've connected a Lightning cable and had the message that your Lightning port contains water. So to fix that, first of all, unplug your iPhone and leave it somewhere to dry. Don't put it in rice. I know that this has been a go-to fix for people for years. The belief is that the rice is better at absorbing the moisture. Studies have been carried out that prove that firstly, this isn't actually true. Air drying is way more effective, but also you run the risk of fine dust particles from the rice getting inside your phone as well as the water. And that's it. That's the fix here. Leave your phone somewhere to dry out before doing anything with it. If after a period of time you know that the iPhone is going to be dry and you're still getting the error message, first, try a different Lightning cable, and if that doesn't fix it, speak with Apple support. By the way, if you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my newsletter, The Proper Weekly? I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a tip for an item in the Apple ecosystem. The newsletter goes out each Friday, it's free to join, and I'll include a sign-up link in the description of this video. Number 6 is the term iPhone virus, which I would translate as people thinking that they've got an iPhone virus. So let's explore that quickly. The good news here is that in general, I can say that your iPhone most likely does not have a virus for a few reasons. iPhones are in general harder for hackers to produce effective viruses for than say an Android phone or a Windows PC, thanks mainly to the walled garden approach that Apple have taken with their App Store. And as long as you don't jailbreak your phone, and as long as you take sensible precautions like not following dodgy links or visiting dodgy sites and keeping your operating system up to date, you should be very safe when using your iPhone. It isn't out of the question that you could have a virus on your iPhone, and there are certain symptoms like your phone constantly being hot, losing battery power at an alarming rate, apps that you don't recognize showing on your home screen, which could point to some kind of compromise. Honestly, the topic is quite extensive. I've made an entire video about it, and if you're still concerned that your iPhone might be infected with some kind of virus, I would absolutely recommend that you watch that video. I'll link to it in the description of this video. In at number 5 is the term iPhone not charging. Generally, if your iPhone won't take a charge, it's a case of isolating each element of the charging process and troubleshooting. So if we take my iPhone 14 Pro here, and if we focus on charging it via a lightning cable, you might think that there's only one physical item involved in that process, the lightning cable. But of course, that's not the case. If we work backwards from the phone, we've got the phone itself, we've got its lightning port at the bottom, then we've got the lightning cable itself, then we've got the power brick, then we've got the power outlet in the wall. But keep in mind, you might also have an extension cable or something like that. And the issue is that we need all of these elements to be working perfectly in order for our phone to take a charge. If just one of these is faulty, the whole chain breaks. So while it might be irritating, you need to isolate and test each of these. Use different cables, different sockets, different charging bricks, and give your phone's lightning port a clean if it's dirty. I'd recommend using a clean, dry toothbrush for this and see if any of these fix the problem. The other thing to consider here is if your phone stops charging at 80%, which some people might assume is an issue with the phone, but it's actually a feature. Your iPhone has a function called optimized battery charging, where your phone will try and intelligently anticipate how long you're going to leave your phone on charge for based on your charging habits, and will quickly charge your phone up to 80%, but then stop the charging until closer to the time when you're likely to want to use it. It does this to maintain battery health, and it's a feature I'd recommend leaving on. You can disable it if you wish. Head to Settings, then Battery Health and Charging, and switch it off. So number 4 is iPhone stuck on Apple logo, and if you're experiencing this, there are a few steps that you can take. Firstly, according to Apple, you need to ensure that the progress bar hasn't moved in over an hour. Not much you can do here other than make a mental note of where it is, leave the phone plugged into power, and then come back a bit later and see whether or not the bar has moved. This might sound crazy, but Apple do claim that if you're restoring your phone from a backup or migrating from a previous device, it's not unusual for your phone to get stuck on this screen for quite some time while everything is working away in the background. If you know that the iPhone has been stuck like this for more than an hour, it's going to be a case of putting the phone into recovery mode, which we talked about earlier in the video, but I'll repeat it here quickly. Connect your phone to a Windows PC or Mac computer, and then if you've got an iPhone 6S or older, press and hold both the sleep wake button and the home button, and keep them held until you see the recovery mode screen. If you've got an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, press and hold both the volume down and sleep wake button, again until you see the recovery mode screen, and on an iPhone 8 or newer, press and release the volume up button, then the volume down button, and then press and hold the side button until the recovery screen appears. Open iTunes and use this to update or restore your device. Number 3 is Face ID not working. First up, check out your Face ID settings by going to Settings, then Face ID and Passcode, and ensuring that everything that you need to be able to use is enabled in here. It might sound really obvious, but you'd be amazed how often I hear people complain that Face ID never works for them, and it turns out that they've disabled a crucial setting in here. If it's not working on a specific app for you, head into Other Apps and make sure that the app is enabled in here. You can use Setup an alternative appearance to do exactly what it says in the tin, and I'd recommend trying this if you're regularly having issues with Face ID. You can enable Face ID with a mask if you believe that wearing a mask is causing the problem for you, and you could disable Require Attention for Face ID. With this enabled, you'll need to be looking at your phone in order for Face ID to work. Toggling this off can often be the fix for if you're wearing sunglasses, for example. The security of Face ID isn't as good with this toggled off, but it's likely still good enough for most people. If none of these fixes work, try resetting Face ID by choosing the reset option here, and finally make sure that the Face ID array at the top of your phone isn't obstructed by anything. This could include a phone case or general dirt or grime that might be in the way, so give everything a good clean with a microfiber cloth. Number 2 is Forgot iPhone Passcode. I've made a dedicated video all about this one, so rather than repeat it all here, I'll link to that video. But in essence, if you've tried to input your passcode and simply can't remember it, the likely solution for you is to erase your phone and set it up again. You're going to do this by putting your phone into recovery mode and connecting to a Windows PC or Mac computer, which again, I've covered in the video, so I won't repeat myself. Check out section 4 or section 8 of this video to see exactly what to do. So finally, we're at number 1, and we're ending on another quick tip, because if you get the message iPhone is disabled, connect to iTunes on your phone, the solution is once again to restore your iPhone by putting it into recovery mode. This message appears when you've put an incorrect passcode into your phone too many times, and it's a security feature of the iPhone designed to stop people from being able to access your data. If you input the wrong passcode enough times in a row, your iPhone will temporarily lock you out, but it will only do this for so long and will eventually lock you out permanently. If this has happened to you, you're going to need to see if you can restore the phone from iTunes following the method in tip 4 and 8 of this video. So there you go, those are the 10 most searched for iPhone problems and how to resolve them. Hopefully, if you've watched this, you've either found a solution to a problem you've had, or you'll know what to do if one of these problems happens to you. What do you think? Is there an iPhone issue you would have expected to be on this list but wasn't? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.